What is up, dudes? Here is Angry Grandpa. Welcome back. Today we want to talk about the best tier 6 medium or MBT in the game, non-premium, in my opinion. Now, I've made this video before, but because I had some GPU problems and the video was in pixels and then it stopped and it crashed the game and so on because of my shitty PC, I have to do it again. So here it is. We have a lot of mediums. Well, some of them are heavies, some of them are just some regular, tanks. Some are very similar in them, but I'm gonna do the following, the trimming. So if I don't like something, I'm gonna set as reserve. If I like something or that I've been playing with it and I have some very good experience with the tank itself, I'm gonna keep it. The first one, it is the Chieftain 100, which is a good tank. You find it in the tech tree of Marat Shishkin, and you can make some upgrades, and the tank gets better and better with each upgrade itself. However, it's a high profile, it's a tall tank, it has a really good gun, fairly decent armor. Sometimes you can get some penetrations just right above the upper plate in this area or the lower plate. If you sit with the tank, you're gonna get penetrated, so you have to move forwards and backwards with the tank. Don't sit stable. The sustained damage, it is the 400 millimeters penetration with 540 damage, an average damage per minute of 3.4k. Reloads in 9.39 seconds. If you put retrofit, reloads faster, probably up to 780 or 820, depends, If you change the commander also in the put, let's say Viktor Kirchnov, it reloads faster the moment the tank gets hit. Each incoming damage reloads faster. And the duration is every 10 seconds. So you have 9 seconds here, commander, and you have also the retrofits will help you to reload faster. You have hash ammo, APFS-DS and APDS. I'm gonna put like this, APFS, which is the only one, much easier to pronounce, a lot of FS and DSs and so on. Mobility wise, well, defense, whatever, hit points 3k is the highest among all of them by health. Max speed, it is 55 kilometers, so it's not the fastest, but it's very decent. Utility, 420 AV range while moving. If you put some retrofits for better spotting, as I said, this tank is made for spotting, not for active, aggressive fighting. It's made for sniping. You can go with him, on some hills. You can play hill down, hill up, hill down, whatever you want to call it. Protect your tank, but it's not the best tank for fighting aggressive. You die very fast. Gun elevation, gun depression is the best among all the tanks here we have. So should I keep it or not? Well, I'm gonna keep it because it's one of the tanks that makes you to play very defensive and understand the tank more. So this one, I'm gonna keep it. The next one is the Leopard 2 AV, which you're gonna have it, you're gonna find it in the Sophie Wolfley texture. The moment you're gonna upgrade the tank, it gets better and better. When it's stock, it's quite shitty, like shitty at all, and it's very hard to play with him. When it comes to sustained damage, well, 460 millimeters penetration, 425 damage. But keep in mind, moment you upgrade, it get better. When you get it first time, you get just the 460. Well, you can switch because it comes up to how you want to play. Like, I use the small penetration for lighter tanks or for those that can be easily penetrated. If I encounter a heavily armored tank, I'm gonna switch to the other type of a shell, And if it gets worse, I can switch to heat and so on. That's why I have 3 types. Because if you switch these, it increases also the damage here up. Like you saw, it's by 100, something like this, per minute. Defense wise, it has 2.8k health, mobility 75, is the fastest among all of them. Utility says 450 meters while moving, 485 while being stopped. And this is with retrofits, as you may see, because I had to use on this tank. This profile of his tank, it is very straightforward. No, not so much design. Only at tier 8 you're gonna see some interesting design, and at tier 7 a very different type of and a different approach of the armor and also of the gun itself, and it's much more enjoyable there. Targeting, well, 9 degrees depression, 9 degrees elevation. So yeah, my experience with him, well, you can play aggressive and passive or sniping, but nah, it's not on my list, so as a reserve. The next one, it is the Abrams. With Abrams, you're gonna find him in the Sophie Wolfley tech tree. Not so much to upgrade at him, straightforward. Probably when you start to upgrade the tank, try to get the tracks, it helps him a lot. About the tank, this details and how it looks is very versatile. You can play aggressive, sniping as you want to and as you wish to. I use just one type of a shell, the APFS, which, well, as you may see, I have also others, but I haven't played with this tank in a while, and it recently has been upgraded with the tier 7, 8, 9 and 10, if I remember. And I haven't changed a thing. So sustained damage by the stock gun, it says 3.5k. If I switch now, it changes also 3.7k. If I switch now, I can go to 3.7 and a bit, you know. It doesn't matter for me now, but it matters for you. What type of an ammo I should use on this tank? I will switch by half and half. Like 25, 24 shells, heat, APFS, and so on. Switch, because if you get a highly armored tank, you can use heat or APFS, or it depends how you want to, because with the heat you get a bonus damage of 25%, so it increases the damage, and it gets you also a chance of fire, so that's a boost also. It's a good thing to have, you know. My experience with the tank, it's very decent, very well developed. Probably at tier, let's say 8, 9, you get to see a better version of this tank. It's not one of the best ones, but it's fairly fun to play, you know. It's very fun to play. 2.8k health, mobility 72 km/h, so it's fast, and also travel speed. View range while moving, it is 415, and targeting 10 to 20 degrees depression, gun elevation. So it's a fairly good tank. I enjoyed playing with him. It's very fun to play with him. You can play very aggressive. Sometimes you forget to sit behind the lines and you're waking up in the middle of the fight. Should I keep it or as a reserve? Yes, I'll keep this tank because I enjoy with it. So the next one, it is the Magar 7C, which you're gonna find it in the Soulscriber newest tech tree. Not so much to upgrade out this tank, probably just the engine first to get it good. This is a better version of a Patton, heavily armored. Did I enjoy playing with this tank? Yes, a lot. Very much. Like if I have some special events I want to do it, I'm gonna use this tank or the premium MBT 70. This tank has a good armor and so on. Very decent gun. Similar gun, you're gonna find it also on the Merkava 2B, because it's the same tech tree and so on. Let's see the stats. So it says 500 penetration with 450 damage, and average damage per minute is the 4k, something like this. It's very decent. 2.8k health points, mobility 55 kilometers, so it's not the fastest but very decent. Utility 430, while moving 500 meters while being stopped. This is with retrofits, yeah. And targeting, well, 10 to 19 degrees gun elevation, gun depression. So it's a very decent tank. You can play hull down, hull up. Very aggressive. You can enjoy fighting with this tank, and also is very, you know, enjoyable. Should I keep it or not? Yes, I keep it because it's a very good tank. The next one is the Merkava MK2B, which you find it also in the Soulschreiber text tree. With this tank, it's a bit different. Not so many upgrades at all. It's basically a stock tank. Very similar to the tier 7 premium, but the tier 7 premium it's fairly different than this one. The gun is the same as the Magash 7C, but this tank needs retrofits. Basically, it needs retrofits, it needs a repair kit, and so on. 500 penetration for 60 damage, 4.4k damage per minute on average. Defense 3.6k health points, mobility 60 kilometers an hour, so it's faster a bit by 5 kilometers than Magash. Utility 433 while moving, 503 and a bit, both of them while being stopped with retrofits. Targeting 7 degrees, 20 degrees. With this tank you are half enough. Engine in the front, ammo in the back. Yeah, not so much to speak about him. It's very you can play very aggressive if you have a map with dunes or hills, but don't expect that this round design can bounce. Sometimes you can get some penetration right here on the upper plate. If there is 80 GM or hit and you sit a bit like this, then it's penetration, you know. A lower plate, definitely. Tracks on this tank always fail, so use a big repair kit. Never show your enemy the sides or the rear, otherwise your barbecue gonna blow up fast. It's an auto loader, so you have 4 shells, so you're gonna end up, you know, killing one tank by yourself if you use heat. If you use AP rounds, well, you're gonna get a bounce or you might leave him alive. Should I keep it or reserve? No, I'm not gonna keep it, so as a reserve. The T72B and T80B are very similar in profile, but which one of them I'm gonna talk about, because one of them must be better than the other one, you know. And in my opinion, between those two, the T80B is much better. So T72B as a reserve. And here we go, T80B. Why T80B? Because even though T72B has a better gun, which is hit FS and so on, with this one you have more armor. Even though in the stats it doesn't speak a lot, it has better survivability when it comes versus ATGMs and so on. They are placed very well, and the tank itself can be playable and very aggressive despite the T72. I enjoyed playing with this tank. Really good matches. You can play aggressive, fairly good design, not so tall, good gun. Let's see, 2.2k health, not the best health, but you can manage, you know. Very mobile, 70 kilometers an hour, transfer speed and so it's fine. 415 view range, it's decent, but you can put retrofits if you want to reload faster and so on. Penetration, it says 380 by 560 damage. Is because I placed the 80, well, the first type of a penetration, which is not the best one. So if we switch from this to this only, you get a better penetration. Look, it switches. The defense, as I said, 2.2k health points, mobility as peak 70 kilometers, utility for 15, targeting 7 to 14. So not the best gun elevation, gun depression, but with this tank being having his turret on the middle of the chassis, you can shoot with him while on the move. And you're gonna get shots after shots penetration, you know, so it's very mobile. Just don't let the enemy go on the sideways like this area. Forward or front, in the front you can manage to survive, but sideways don't do it. Should I keep it or leave it? I'm gonna keep the tank. And here in the Zhangfeng Text tree you have two different tanks, which you find them here, but just one of them is much better than the other one. And the moment you have a tier 6 tank that has plates on it, and you have to upgrade to get this type of, as if I show you now, you see now it's empty and the tank gets easily penetrated. So that's why this tank has and should get the upgrade. It's not the best one. So type 92 as a reserve. So with this tank, I really enjoyed playing with him, even though in some matches gave me a lot of pain. The profile, if you compare it with T80B, it's nearly the same, only that the turret is slightly in the front. Let's go with the damage. 510 millimeters penetration, 615 damage, decent. 2.6k health points, 65 kilometers an hour, so fast, it's fast. Utility 430 while moving. So with this tank you don't need retrofits, you do not need the retrofits to spot the enemy, you just play like this with the tank. Targeting 6 degrees depression, 14 degrees gun elevation. So yeah, about the tank itself, it's not so much to upgrade about him, probably just the engine control unit or the tracks or the survivability kit, but the same as his counterpart, the type, both of them are similar, and both of them at tier 6 are not the best tanks. Even though with this one you have a better gameplay than the other one, with no, it's not on my list, so I'm not gonna keep it. At tier 6 non-premium, currently in the game, Magash wins this time. Why? Because this tank, you can play and fight aggressive and be a lunatic. It reloads fast. It's a very good tank for aggressive finishing missions, aggressive fighting, going all the way and trying to be the best as you could, you know, be. But in my opinion, it is the best medium non-premium. And if you stumble upon some gold in the game and you want to have a premium tank, you can make this one as a premium because it's very enjoyable. It has a good gun. Hit ammo was very decent. Reloading is very decent. I don't have retrofits for this one, but view range and so on, the armor and so on, this tank can survive some shells and can be very deadly. You can ram with him, you can play as you want, so you don't need so much knowledge about playing with mediums or MBTs in this game. Look, so it's a really good tank. So the tank itself, it's fairly good. As I mentioned in the beginning, this tank has a really decent gun, but also it's similar to the pattern itself. Doesn't take so much damage. You can use hit ammo as I'm using now, but you can also use the AP rounds. You can shoot on a move because the turret is slightly in the middle, not in the middle, but nearly in the middle. Yeah, so it's a very good tank, and he is my choice for this video. So the winner for this video and for this let's say comparison for today, the tier 6 MBT, it is the Magar 7C. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep playing with tanks and understand the tanks, and see you in the next video. Bye.